This analysis begins with a question that continues to echo across entertainment headlines worldwide. Why does the relationship between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet attract such intense media attention, even when both appear determined to keep their private lives out of the spotlight? In just seconds, their names resurface on trending charts, dominate search engines, and ignite debate across social media platforms. Stay with this story, react, and share your thoughts, because what unfolds next reveals why this relationship has evolved into more than just another celebrity romance. From the very beginning, the connection between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet carried an undeniable intrigue. Kylie Jenner stands as one of the most influential figures in modern pop culture, a beauty mogul, reality television icon, and a symbol of digital-era fame. Timothée Chalamet, meanwhile, represents a different Hollywood archetype, critically acclaimed, artistically driven, and known for maintaining a relatively private personal life despite global stardom. When these two worlds collided, media fascination became inevitable. Every subtle interaction, every rare public appearance, and even their absence from certain events quickly transformed into headline-worthy material. As weeks turned into months, coverage intensified rather than faded. Entertainment media observed a recurring pattern. When Kylie and Timothée were seen together, cameras followed relentlessly. When they retreated from public view, speculation only grew stronger. This paradox fueled constant engagement. Audiences were no longer just asking whether the couple was still together, but how they were navigating fame, privacy, and expectation in an era where visibility often defines relevance. Industry analysts note that the public's obsession is not rooted solely in romance. Instead, this relationship has come to symbolize a cultural crossover. Kylie Jenner embodies social media dominance, billion-dollar branding, and the Kardashian-Jenner media empire. Timothée Chalamet is associated with independent cinema, major film festivals, and a carefully curated image that resists oversharing. Their relationship challenges traditional narratives, prompting debates about authenticity, image management, and whether modern celebrity relationships can truly exist outside public consumption. Media narratives soon shifted from simple reporting to deeper interpretation. Articles began analyzing body language, facial expressions, and even timing. A brief smile or quiet exchange became framed as evidence of emotional closeness. Conversely, separate appearances at high-profile events were interpreted as signs of distance or intentional discretion. This level of scrutiny ensured that the story never lost momentum, even in the absence of direct statements from either party. Midway through this unfolding narrative, one critical factor intensified public curiosity: silence. Neither Kylie Jenner nor Timothée Chalamet offered clear confirmation or denial regarding most rumors. This lack of commentary proved powerful. By choosing not to define their relationship publicly, they allowed speculation to flourish. Audiences became active participants, interpreting fragments of information and constructing their own versions of the story. If you've stayed with this analysis this far, the next development explains why that silence became the defining element of the media frenzy. Cultural commentators describe this phenomenon as silent amplification. The less Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet said, the louder the media conversation became. Candid photographs turned into viral moments. Anonymous insider quotes sparked endless debate. In today's attention economy, restraint can generate more engagement than constant exposure. This couple appeared to understand that principle, maintaining relevance without overexposure and allowing curiosity to do the work. The climax of media attention emerged when observers began to view their relationship as a broader reflection of how modern celebrities manage privacy. Rather than relying on official statements or curated social media posts, Kylie and Timothée demonstrated a different approach. Strategic appearances, controlled visibility, and intentional silence allowed them to retain a degree of narrative control. This approach resonated with audiences increasingly skeptical of performative transparency. Ultimately, the relationship between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet has become a case study in the intersection of love, fame, and media power. The growing spotlight is not driven solely by who they are, but by how they respond to constant observation. Their story reflects a collective fascination with intimacy that feels both accessible and elusive. If this analysis offered a new perspective, stay engaged, share your opinion, and keep following the conversation, because the story surrounding Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet is far from reaching its final chapter. Building on that momentum, media coverage has continued to evolve in tone and depth, moving beyond surface-level fascination into a broader examination of influence and timing. Industry insiders note that the relationship between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet surfaced during a period when both figures were experiencing pivotal moments in their respective careers. Kylie was refining her public image as a business leader and mother, while Timothée was transitioning from indie darling to globally bankable leading man. This convergence amplified interest, as audiences often project larger narratives onto celebrities who appear to be at crossroads. Newsrooms and digital platforms quickly recognized that stories involving Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet consistently generated high engagement metrics. Click-through rates, watch time, and comment activity spiked whenever their names appeared together. As a result, the relationship became not only a cultural topic but also a media asset. This dynamic created a feedback loop. Heightened coverage fueled public curiosity, which in turn justified even more coverage. Analysts argue that this cycle is a defining feature of modern celebrity journalism. Another factor intensifying the spotlight is contrast. Kylie Jenner's public persona has been shaped by years of reality television, brand launches, and constant online visibility. Timothée Chalamet's image, by contrast, has been cultivated through selective interviews, red carpet appearances, and critically acclaimed performances. When these contrasting approaches intersect, they create narrative tension. Media outlets frame the relationship as a study in opposites, a theme that has historically proven compelling to audiences across generations. As speculation grew, so did attempts to decode intent. Commentators debated whether their low-profile approach was a deliberate strategy or a natural reflection of personality differences. Some argued that the restraint signaled seriousness, suggesting a desire to protect something meaningful from external pressure. Others interpreted it as a pragmatic response to overexposure, especially given Kylie Jenner's long history of highly publicized relationships. This divergence of interpretation ensured that conversations remained active and unresolved. At the same time, the relationship began influencing fashion and lifestyle coverage. When Kylie and Timothée appeared at similar events or within the same social circles, style analysts drew connections between their aesthetic choices. Headlines examined whether their individual looks subtly converged, reading symbolism into color palettes, silhouettes, and designer selections. This expanded the story beyond entertainment news, embedding it within fashion, branding, and cultural commentary. Midway through this ongoing narrative, a noticeable shift occurred. Instead of chasing constant confirmation, some media outlets began framing the relationship as an example of boundary setting in the digital age. Articles explored how high-profile figures can maintain relevance while limiting access. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet were cited as proof that mystery remains a powerful currency. By offering just enough visibility to confirm interest, but not enough to satisfy curiosity, they sustained long-term engagement. This reframing marked a turning point. The story was no longer just about whether they were together, but about what their approach signaled for celebrity culture as a whole. Younger audiences, in particular, responded positively to the idea that not every aspect of a public figure's life must be documented. Comment sections reflected admiration for perceived authenticity and restraint, suggesting a shift in audience expectations. As attention peaked, so did scrutiny. Every public interaction was analyzed for signs of change. A relaxed demeanor suggested comfort, while distance was read as intentional discretion. The absence of controversy became, paradoxically, a source of intrigue. In a media landscape saturated with scandal-driven narratives, the relative calm surrounding Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet stood out. This calmness allowed their story to feel sustainable rather than explosive, extending its lifespan in the public consciousness. The payoff of this extended narrative lies in its ambiguity. Unlike traditional celebrity romances that culminate in public declarations or dramatic endings, this relationship thrives on uncertainty. That uncertainty keeps audiences returning for updates, searching for clues, and engaging with analysis pieces like this one. It transforms passive observers into active participants, each drawing their own conclusions based on limited information. From a broader perspective, the relationship underscores how celebrity influence has matured. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet do not rely solely on visibility to command attention. Instead, they leverage timing, absence, and selective presence. Media analysts suggest this approach may become more common as public figures seek to balance personal well-being with professional relevance. As the story continues to unfold, one thing remains clear: the media spotlight is unlikely to fade anytime soon. The combination of global fame, contrasting identities, and strategic silence ensures ongoing interest. For audiences, the relationship offers more than entertainment. It provides insight into evolving norms around privacy, fame, and narrative control. In the end, the relationship between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet stands as a reflection of its era. It is shaped as much by what is shown as by what is withheld. The sustained attention proves that in today's media environment, mystery can be more compelling than exposure. Stay engaged, keep the conversation alive, and watch closely, because every subtle development has the potential to redefine how celebrity relationships are perceived in the modern age. Continuing this analysis, media observers increasingly point out that the relationship between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet has become a mirror reflecting the evolving priorities of celebrity audiences. In previous decades, public romance thrived on exclusives, dramatic reveals, and highly choreographed moments. Today, however, attention is often sustained through ambiguity. Kylie and Timothée exist at the center of this shift, where partial visibility creates stronger emotional investment than full disclosure ever could. Coverage has also highlighted how timing plays a crucial role in sustaining the spotlight. Each new development, no matter how small, tends to surface during culturally significant moments, award seasons, major fashion weeks, film premieres, or high-traffic social media cycles. When their names reappear in headlines during these periods, the story gains renewed momentum. Analysts argue this is not accidental, but rather a reflection of how modern media ecosystems function, amplifying stories that align with peak attention windows. Another layer driving fascination is audience identification. Kylie Jenner represents a hyper-visible form of fame that many have watched evolve in real time, from adolescence to global entrepreneurship. Timothée Chalamet represents aspiration rooted in talent, artistry, and selective exposure. Together, they create a narrative that resonates across demographics. Some viewers see relatability in Kylie's openness and growth, while others admire Timothée's restraint and creative focus. Their relationship allows audiences to project ideals, questions, and even personal values onto a shared story. As the narrative deepens, experts in media psychology suggest that the appeal lies in unresolved tension. Humans are naturally drawn to stories without clear endings. By avoiding definitive labels or constant public affirmation, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet leave space for interpretation. This open-ended structure keeps search interest high and ensures ongoing engagement across platforms, from entertainment news sites to discussion forums and video commentary channels. The relationship has also influenced how other celebrities are perceived. Comparisons frequently emerge, with commentators contrasting highly publicized romances against the quieter presence of Kylie and Timothée. In these discussions, restraint is often framed as sophistication, while overexposure is criticized as performative. Whether fair or not, this comparison elevates their relationship into a benchmark, reinforcing its relevance within broader cultural conversations. As media narratives expand, language around the relationship becomes more analytical than sensational. Headlines increasingly focus on themes like privacy, image control, and cultural impact rather than speculation alone. This shift signals maturation in coverage, positioning the story within a wider discussion about fame in the digital era. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet are no longer just subjects of gossip, they are reference points in debates about how celebrity identities are constructed and maintained. At this stage, the sustained spotlight appears self-perpetuating. Even neutral developments, such as attending separate events or remaining silent during rumor cycles, generate interpretation. This constant decoding reinforces engagement without requiring direct input from the individuals involved. The absence of conflict or dramatic escalation paradoxically strengthens the narrative, making it feel stable yet perpetually unfinished. Ultimately, the ongoing attention surrounding Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet demonstrates how modern celebrity stories thrive on balance. Too much exposure risks fatigue, while too little invites speculation. Their ability to remain present without oversharing keeps the public invested. For media outlets, the story remains valuable because it adapts to changing audience expectations while maintaining consistent interest. As this analysis extends, one conclusion becomes increasingly clear: the relationship is less about confirming facts and more about observing patterns. It is a living narrative shaped by timing, silence, and selective visibility. That is why it continues to dominate conversations and search trends, and why audiences keep returning for updates. Stay tuned, stay curious, and stay engaged, because in the world of modern celebrity culture, stories like this rarely end, they simply evolve. As the media narrative stretches further, it becomes increasingly clear that the sustained attention surrounding Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet is not driven by novelty alone, but by endurance. In an industry where stories rise and fall within days, their relationship has demonstrated an unusual ability to remain relevant without dramatic escalation. This longevity has prompted journalists and analysts to reassess what truly keeps a celebrity story alive in a hypersaturated news environment. One explanation frequently cited is credibility. Unlike relationships that rely heavily on public declarations or social media performances, this connection unfolds with restraint. There are no viral announcements, no orchestrated reveals, and no attempts to dominate headlines through controversy. Instead, what exists is consistency. When Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet are seen together, the moments feel unforced, and when they are not, the silence feels intentional rather than evasive. That perceived authenticity has become a powerful anchor for audience trust. The relationship has also benefited from the broader cultural moment. Audiences today are more media literate than ever before. Many viewers understand how publicity cycles work and have grown wary of narratives that feel manufactured. In that context, the understated presence of Kylie and Timothée reads as refreshing. Media coverage reflects this shift, with more outlets framing their relationship as an example of modern celebrity balance rather than tabloid spectacle. Another key factor is narrative flexibility. Because there are few definitive statements, the story adapts easily to new contexts. During film award seasons, attention centers on Timothée Chalamet's career trajectory and how personal stability may influence artistic performance. During fashion weeks or major brand moments, the focus shifts toward Kylie Jenner's evolving public image and how her personal life intersects with her business empire. The relationship functions as a connective thread, linking multiple industries and audience interests. Over time, this adaptability has transformed the relationship into a reference point. Other celebrity couples are frequently discussed in relation to Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, whether as contrasts or parallels. Some are described as overly exposed, others as excessively guarded. In these comparisons, Kylie and Timothy often occupy a middle ground, visible but controlled, present but not performative. This positioning reinforces their relevance even when no new developments occur. Media analysts also emphasize the role of emotional projection. Because so much is left unsaid, audiences fill the gaps with their own interpretations. Supporters read seriousness and maturity into the silence. Skeptics see calculated image management. Neutral observers view it as a natural evolution of privacy in the digital age. Each interpretation sustains engagement, ensuring that discussions continue across comment sections, video analyses, and opinion columns. As coverage deepens, language around the relationship increasingly mirrors that of long-form analysis rather than breaking news. Phrases like cultural signal, media strategy, and narrative control appear more frequently, indicating a shift in how the story is processed. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet are no longer just individuals being observed, they are symbols within a larger conversation about fame, intimacy, and control in the public eye. Importantly, the absence of scandal has not diminished interest. In fact, it has amplified it. In an environment where controversy is often expected, stability becomes intriguing. The lack of dramatic highs and lows allows the story to breathe, giving it a slow burn quality that sustains attention over months rather than days. This slow burn aligns well with long-term search behavior, where audiences periodically return to check for updates rather than consuming the story once and moving on. From a media economics perspective, this makes the relationship particularly valuable. Stories that can be revisited, reanalyzed, and reframed offer longevity. Each new article builds on previous ones rather than replacing them. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet have become fixtures within entertainment journalism, not because of constant activity, but because of consistent relevance. As the narrative continues to evolve, it increasingly reflects a broader recalibration of celebrity culture. Privacy is no longer seen as a rejection of the audience, but as a form of self-definition. By choosing when and how to be visible, Kylie and Timothée assert agency in an industry that often demands constant access. Media coverage, in turn, adapts to this boundary, shifting from intrusion to interpretation. In the long view, the relationship stands as a case study in how modern fame operates. It shows that attention does not always require amplification, that silence can be strategic without being deceptive, and that mystery can coexist with credibility. For audiences, this creates a sense of ongoing anticipation rather than instant gratification. As public interest remains steady, one conclusion becomes unavoidable. The spotlight on Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet persists not because the media refuses to move on, but because the story itself continues to offer meaning. It intersects with conversations about identity, influence, and the cost of visibility. That is why it endures, and why it will likely continue to surface in headlines, analyses, and discussions long after louder stories have faded. Stay engaged, stay observant, and keep the conversation going, because in the landscape of modern celebrity news, stories built on nuance and restraint often leave the deepest imprint. As the spotlight continues, another dimension begins to shape the way this relationship is discussed: power balance. Media analysts frequently point out that Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet enter the relationship with vastly different forms of influence, yet neither appears to overshadow the other. Kylie's power is rooted in digital dominance, branding, and global consumer reach. Timothy's power comes from critical acclaim, artistic credibility, and cultural prestige within the film industry. This balance has become a recurring theme in coverage, reinforcing the idea that the relationship functions on mutual respect rather than hierarchy. This perceived equilibrium further fuels public interest. In many high-profile relationships, narratives quickly form around imbalance, with one partner framed as more famous, more influential, or more exposed. In this case, the media struggles to apply that framework. Instead, coverage often emphasizes contrast without competition. That nuance adds depth to the story, allowing it to evolve beyond familiar celebrity tropes. Another factor sustaining attention is generational relevance. Kylie Jenner commands loyalty from younger digital native audiences who grew up watching her navigate fame in real time. Timothée Chalamet resonates strongly with a slightly different demographic, including cinephiles and viewers drawn to prestige storytelling. Their relationship bridges these audiences, expanding its reach across platforms and age groups. This crossover effect ensures that the story remains visible in diverse media spaces, from entertainment news to cultural commentary. The relationship has also subtly influenced discourse around masculinity and femininity in celebrity culture. Timothée Chalamet has long been associated with a softer, non-traditional image of male stardom, while Kylie Jenner embodies a modern form of hyper-feminine power tied to entrepreneurship and visibility. Together, they challenge outdated expectations about how celebrity couples should look or behave. Media narratives increasingly highlight this aspect, framing their relationship as culturally progressive rather than merely sensational. As coverage continues, the role of speculation evolves. Early reports focused on confirmation and denial. Later coverage shifted toward meaning and implication. Now, much of the discourse centers on longevity. Commentators ask not when the relationship began or how visible it is, but why it has endured under such scrutiny. This shift signals that the story has moved into a more mature phase, where endurance itself becomes the headline. The absence of a definitive narrative arc remains crucial. There is no single moment that resolves the story, no public declaration that closes the loop. Instead, the relationship unfolds incrementally, through subtle appearances and consistent restraint. This structure mirrors serialized storytelling, where anticipation is sustained through pacing rather than spectacle. Media outlets adapt accordingly, offering analysis instead of conclusions. As attention remains steady, the relationship also becomes a reference point in discussions about media ethics. Some journalists question how much interpretation is too much, while others argue that analysis fills the gap left by silence. This meta-conversation adds another layer, turning coverage of Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet into a reflection on journalism itself. The story becomes not only about the couple, but about how stories are constructed, consumed, and sustained. Importantly, public reaction has remained relatively balanced. While speculation exists, there has been little evidence of backlash or fatigue. This suggests that audiences are responding positively to a narrative that respects boundaries. In an era where oversharing often leads to rapid disengagement, the controlled pace of this relationship appears to align with evolving viewer preferences. From a long-term perspective, the relationship's significance may extend beyond its personal outcome. Whether